Hey, I'm going to run down the three main aspects to really consider when building out your home page of the website, which is the very first thing that people will come to on your website. So just real brief to kind of run down it. We're going to talk about full width, how that's kind of like the new trend and that's what everybody likes to see. Number two, too many choices will actually cause a negative effect. So less is more choice-wise. And number three, people are scrolling. You might have heard some things back in the day that you need to have parts of your website laid out on top of each other, but in reality, with the invention of cell phones, people will scroll. So just kind of hit on those. First off, if you look at the website, full depth or full width really means it goes completely across the whole screen. It's going to take up more real estate, and it just has that look of, when you open a book, it just looks more professionally done and almost like a larger than life approach. So you really want stuff to be looking all the way across for a lot of features. You don't need it for everything. As you can see, certain aspects of it go all the way across, but not all of them. So, make sure that some of these images that you want to stand out a little bit more are actually going the full width of the screen. The second thing is less is more. When I talk to this client, they're a pond and water feature company in Iowa. They pretty much have three main revenue streams. Obviously people do a lot more, but the three main ones are going to be new construction, renovation, and then maintenance. So what they want to do is really capitalize on those three and have them front and center on the home screen. Now, there's a book called The Paradox of Choice, and the whole principle is that when you give too many choices, it actually has that negative effect on people. So with this, we try to keep it no more than really three main choices on the home screen. As you can see here, we actually have three that they can choose from service-wise, and then you have the get a quote at the top. Now, that obviously will get them right to the home run, which is the contact page, but for this client, those are the three main revenue streams. They're right there, and the whole goal of having these three buttons right there is so that you lead your clients to the right stage of the right place of where they are in the buying journey without having to figure it out in the menu. A lot of times people like to jumble and put every single option they have on their home page, and it confuses the shit out of everyone and they don't know where to go. So if you have everything laid out nice and neat, it's going to help the client be able to navigate the site that much better. Just like with the sales process, you really want to be in control the whole time. Same with your website. And the last thing is people scroll. What that means is, back in the day, there used to be this thought that stuff needs to be above the fold. What the fold is when you open up a page, everything that sits below that where you have to start scrolling, that's below the fold. Everything that you can see is above the fold, but with things like your cell phone, where it's a small screen and you have to scroll down to see stuff, or with like Facebook, when you scroll and scroll and scroll to see more stuff, people are just naturally prone to scrolling these days. So you don't need to have all your important stuff at the top of the page. Yes, there's a way that you want to do it where you want to have some more important things higher up, but you can imagine that people will be scrolling through your homepage. So don't be afraid to put other important, aspects and content below there. So on this page, what we've done is as you scroll down, it reiterates those three services that they actually do. The reason for this is going to be search engine purposes. So now we're starting to talk about some of the services that they do, the three main revenue streams, and as we're speaking about them, it's actually helping out with Google. You keep going down, it gives a bit about who this client is as a company and why would you want to choose them. You keep going, you have a couple more features that if people are scrolling down this deep, now they can start to have other options if they want, because maybe those first three just weren't doing it. So pretty much the whole web page the home page is laid out so that it'll lead them down those, one of those three revenue streams. And if they don't want to go down those, they have a couple more options coming down. One is, again, get started, get a quote. Another one is just learning about the FAQs and 101 and educating themselves on both, what maybe the overall service is going to be like, but then also what the product will be like. So that's what this water feature 101 is like. Couple testimonials next to it or below it, and that's again for SEO purposes. Most people are not going to post testimonials on their website that are not favorable, because as you can imagine, I mean, why would you do that? That'd be dumb. So it helps out with search engine stuff. And if you keep going, we just have a handful of different images that gives a bit of social proof. So it just kind of shows that they know what they're doing, they have experience in it, and when you click on these, they will actually go to like other portfolio items, so you can see a bit more about the specific projects. And then keep going down, you have a bit about the portfolio, then you have what's called the footer, which just has more information in it. So that's just the overview and the mindset of what this homepage needs to have on it. So just kind of run down it all one more time. Full width, keep it full width, it's gonna look great. If you open up a book and it has a small little picture in the middle versus if it spans across the entire thing, that's why you want to go full width. Number 2, less is more. Don't give so much information and so many choices right there, because it just gets crazy. If you think about like a billboard, they're generally very plain and simple, and that's how this needs to be. Make it easy for them to get through and not too much. Then number 3, they're going to scroll. Make sure you have some good stuff closer to the bottom, because people are going to be looking at that, and that old above the fold thing is no longer here. So those 3 things will help out your website a lot. Check out yours. If you don't have that, you need to start to consider to change that, because right now you're already behind the 8 ball, and the next thing you know, whatever the new website trend might be, you might be behind the 8 ball twice than your SOL. So hope that helps.